We are at Gene Winfield's at his private museum up in Mojave, and we are going to get a private tour with Penny Pichette and Randy from Canada, and Jim is going to walk us through and let us know what's happening at the Winfield Rod and Customs. I took a video off here many years ago, but it was live and it wasn't in 4K, so and unfortunately the broadband was pretty bad, so this time I'm glad I'm able to do it in 4K. So let's hear what they got to say.
Just extended it another 4 feet, but we.
Well, I thought it was part of a chicken coop or something.
The chicken coop in Modesto was actually the chicken coop behind the house, but this is the fuse panel from the chicken coop.
Oh.
So these guys came and they bought. I don't know exactly. I think what happened is somebody that was an older guy that was a customer of Gene's in Modesto. He had some guys probably, maybe by age a little bit younger that, would hang out with him because he was a car guy. And he would tell them about the Gene, and he says, yeah, and he had this chicken coop. So they went and found out where it was. And the house is a rental house now. And so the people that were there got him in touch with the owner. And they didn't want to buy the property, but they just wanted to buy the chicken coop and move it. So
that was Gene's?
Yeah, that was the chicken coop behind his mom's house. So we went and I forgot about this head lock. We went and we got the. Anyway, so they went there and they started to dismantle it board by board, and then it didn't have any oh.
He called Gene's handler.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, that's what I call her.
Yeah, no, that was it. What was it? Artie calls her the Major.
The Major.
Yeah, Major P-I-T-A.
I call her the
So anyway, a lot of this stuff is just stuff that he
collected.
necessarily use in the shop, but it's just stuff that he collected. What's that?
Gene Winfield said a little dog dish hubcap and stuck in a corner behind the Tonka toy.
A lot of this stuff is just stuff, somebody will have like a box of parts
I got a few of that.
The swap meet, and I even found stuff for like for like gas ranges and stuff in here.
See, I had a whole bunch of those Champion spark plugs myself and a few Chevrons.
There's a spark plug cleaner.
Yep.
The representative, he happened to stop by.
No,
He happened to stop by one day, and he goes, "What is this place?" and everything. So then he thought that was really cool. We gave him kind of a little tour, and he put some pictures in there about the AC Delco spark plug cleaner.
Oh yeah.
And
Gee, there's no pictures of me hanging in my bathing suit that are autographed. Oh my God. Oh, here's a book to sign in?
yeah, if you want to
Oh.
tell us where you're
Randy,
from.
Yeah, I'm going to. Yeah.
After
I
you
just
check
check
out
it
all the
everything.
models.
Oh yeah. Looking to see what I had in the day and what I wanted and didn't get. Oh wow.
I had a seabird like that.
Oh sweet. Well, that's a kit drum.
Yeah, that's
what got me started was the Jade Idol. I saw the Jade Idol, I'm like, oh, I'm in love.
that was at Santa Maria.
Oh, okay.
That was at the auction at Santa Maria, and Gene saw them striping it and everything, and painting it. So he sent a guy that was visiting with us from Canada. He goes, hey, go out there and bid on it. I want that. He goes, you go like be a bidder for me,
Yeah.
And in the meantime, Gene's girlfriend sent her brother out, and Gene didn't know. And these two guys are bidding against each other, and it went for like $3,000 or something like that.
Really? Oh, I'm
But
gonna
I-
sign in
but I
behind
think-
you.
I think either way,
Can
Laura
we
paid
go in
for
the
it.
diner?
Oh yeah,
It's unlocked, so you could take
yeah.
some
Oh
with
sure,
you.
sure, yeah,
Thank you, Jimmy.
sure.
I mean, there's so much, even with this right here, you know, that nobody could even see. I
Oh,
mean, you
yeah,
have to
yeah.
spend days in here
Oh yeah.
just to see everything.
Well, this was supposed to be. This rack is for like I think for posters or for
Right.
wallpaper.
Yeah.
So he found out where to get it, but he wanted to do like a thing that was just articles.
Right.
See, that's the second issue of that's the cover of the second issue of Rock and Customs, June '53.
Uh-huh,
But see, actually, all these things was out of this article.
yeah.
Okay, but Gene got some gal that
Gene's got a lot of gals that do that shit, all right?
there was a waitress over there at this diner up in Mojave
Yeah,
to do this, and she didn't know a 32 Ford from a 57 Chevy.
oh,
So she kind of laid this thing, and actually another girl that really knew what was going on, she started the thing like 5 years earlier, and then I don't know whatever happened with her.
oh.
But
I mean, this
Okay, boss.
place,
What's this from?
what's
The trophy. What do you figure it's
we'll
from?
move James Dean.
I don't want to move me. He's coming apart, so it's
Oh.
all good. I thought you might just know off the top of your head. I don't want to
I don't
go
know
moving.
what that one is.
There's more behind it, so
Oops.
yeah, that's why I left it.
Don't take a chance.
Nope, it's not important. Just know.
Yeah, it's funny.
Dick Dean
This one.
over here,
What's that?
picture of Dick Dean.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then this picture up on top, that's
Back to the Future, Back to Vegas.
no, the
What?
one here up on the top
Mark.
on
Oh,
the
with
right here
Gene.
with Gene.
I've seen
Anyway,
that.
that's Pablo. That's Pablo Castro's Merc, and he come down from I think he was living in Fresno then. And what's this thing called?
Oh, sweet. There's a shop truck.
What's that? Oh, the Pacifica, yeah. But
Come on, everybody. Let's go to Winfield's. Yeah, it's a short drive. 1,200 miles.
yeah. So anyway, so Pablo would come. Oh, I'm sorry. So Pablo would come down every few months and see how his car was
Oh,
coming.
it's on this side.
So anyway, so he took this picture, and so we were at Blackie's show in Fresno, and Pablo comes over and he goes, "Hey Gene, look at my new tattoo." He had this whole scene tattooed on his arm, the
Really?
car and Gene, and the shadowing on the shoulder. Everything was
Oh, really?
perfect
Wow.
on it. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
that's the gold Merc that's on the cover of the Cruising News that I was asking you about.
Oh,
The car finally got finished. So.
oh. It's really so sad because there's so much history here that's buried.
Oh yeah. There's stuff hiding in here.
Oh yeah, and it's funny is sometimes people have stuff. There was a gal that was when Gene got out of the hospital. This guy sent his wife from Canada, and she stayed and took care of Gene and stuff. So she did like a page on Facebook.
Mimi.
Mimi, yes. So Mimi did this page on Facebook called "Working with Gene Winfield" or at Gene Winfield at Work, something like that.
Yeah.
And there's a picture
Do
of
you
this.
have lights in here just because you can't
Yeah,
see?
there's
We
yeah.
can't either.
No, I
Just
got lights.
asking,
So this
Joey.
light here, the power works, but and the bulbs are good, except for some reason, it's the strip itself isn't working. So, but anyway,
I knew it was a Wally. I'm like, what the heck? Yeah, sweet.
What were you looking at?
The Wally.
Wally
Oh.
Award,
Yeah.
and of course. Oh shoot! Let's see.
Just remember, you got Michael to report to if you screw
I
up
know she
anything.
probably has cameras in here. You got Wally to sign it. too.
Oh, sweet. That is sweet. Nice.
I had him sign my my camera bag one time.
Did you see the wooden shoes down here?
Yeah,
And he,
Swedish style.
He says in about 10 years that'll be worth something maybe,
Ah.
because he was like 90 then.
The
What, Easy Rider?
Easy Rider is, I think, is it an album or a poster?
I You know, I'm not
Looks
even
like
sure.
an album.
It's
It's
an
an
album.
album, yeah.
Yeah, you know how stinking rare that is? That is really rare.
So, see, like this, I don't know where it came from.
Well,
You know-
who do you think that came from? You don't think that was a Laura thing?
Well, that's a
It could
possibility.
have been a Laura thing.
Okay, that's
It
a
could have been.
possibility.
Got some serious trophies.
And this I know. This one I know is from Blackie's from the. He had the.
The question
Yes,
is what
no.
year?
I'd say that was 99.
Well, I couldn't see down there, so I don't know.
And then here's a. I don't know where this one came from, but I know it's a Joe
Bail
Bailon.
on.
Yeah,
That looks like one bail on built, because I got
Yeah.
one shorter than that.
yeah, but I don't know. I don't know what show it was at.
Oh, how come Gene's not still selling these from Fireball?
What's that? The
His coloring.
You know, he had some, but I don't know if he sold out of them.
Yeah, but Fireball would have made more. He wanted me to go in with him. I don't know.
Is Fireball that guy with the '59 Cadillac?
I don't know what Fireball drives. He's a very wealthy man. That's all I know.
Oh no, he's not the guy here that was doing the burnouts in front.
No.
That guy's he's
no,
got
no,
a name
no.
something like that.
No. No, definitely not. Definitely not.
I thought that was great.
What?
That I went. Carly filmed me, and I said, now, I said we got friends in high places here. I said, and I gave the guy's name. I said, he works for the Kern County Department of City Works. I said, but now he's a supervisor, and he's also a fan of Gene's, so he always makes sure that the easement on each side of the road is always cleared before he always schedules it right before Gene's show, so there's plenty of parking. I said,
I remember you.
I said that also that they repaved Sierra Highway right here, so
Oh,
he says it'll be great. He says so please don't do any burnouts.
I got one
on
of those
No.
with Rich's name on
He
it.
says because it takes about 6 months to cure. He says, but next year it'll be fine. And then I'm over there, made this whole announcement on Facebook and everything. I'm over there, running around on the show, and I hear, oh, this guy's doing all burnouts all
I
over
remember.
the place.
What
I
is
was-
this? Connie Francis's?
No, that's not Connie Francis.
Carrie Francis.
Carrie.
Collection.
Oh, what's this?
I
You
can't-
talking about this? This is
yeah.
Debbie Reynolds.
Debbie
Ooh.
Reynolds, Las Vegas, worn jacket from Carrie Fisher's collection.
Oh,
You want me to move this?
No, it's fine.
Hey, Danny.
that's sweet.
Hey.
It's pretty cool, though, huh? Everything is.
No, I
Yeah, just-
haven't.
well, 'cause he got so much of it, there's
Craig
no
talked
time.
to Michael. I guess
You know what I mean?
they're back east
Oh,
still.
put it there. I'll
I
put
got
it on Monday.
Penny
You walk
from
away
West
and
Coast
Tuesday
Customs
shows
here
up
with
and
some
doing
other
something else.
visitors, and they're
And
taking
Wednesday,
a tour.
but still,
And,
some of it is
and,
just spectacular.
I remember when this was in the front over
yeah.
there.
But the last I checked, it was still 2075.
Is this an actual game that he made or had made for himself?
So
Looks like
anyway,
an
yeah,
action
let me call you back in a bit then. Okay, thanks.
Now, who did this one?
That's Philippe Legal from he's in France, and the name of his studio is called El Mirage. So Gene was at a car show in Spain, and they made a display for him, and this Philip he brought this over here.
You should have brought it all the way with him.
Yeah, so he had it. Well, it was in Spain,
Yeah.
and he built it in France and brought it to Spain,
Huh.
and then he had like a whole display. Gene said, like a whole bunch of cool stuff that they did. I think he put little model cars, and he made like a film, like the fascia of the shelf that he made had like it looked like film frames, with the cog holes and everything, and he put different models of Winfield type cars in there,
Cool.
and he had stuff like that. So anyway, so then when it was Gene's 90th birthday, he created this all up and shipped it to Gene for his birthday.
Wow.
Wow, it's pretty
Spark
sweet.
plugs, everything in
Yeah,
it.
somebody did some work.
Mm.
The
One guy
eyeball,
came-
the Hemi's in there.
One guy came by here and And it's interesting when you have people just stop by, they hear about this place. And he said that his son works at an air-cooled VW place down in Rosemont, and he ought to come and check this place out. So anyway, so I was showing that to him, and he goes, hey, he goes, I got a friend that used to repair gaming machines in Las Vegas. He goes, he could probably get that operational for you.
Get her working.
What's
Yeah,
that?
West Coast Cruise in Paso Robles.
Yeah, he's been there a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a little bit of
I think
stuff.
seen
that
it.
we're
I've seen
missing
it
a
on the
few of them.
Who the hell doesn't do the dishes here?
Jimmy.
Jimmy, yeah, Jimmy's supposed to do it. I haven't been around though.
Jimmy's not doing the dishes. Jimmy just had lunch.
Yeah. No,
Oh, is
he's-
this where you were eating your lunch?
No. No. But
I like finding all the stuff that's buried in the back because they got there first.
Yeah, huh?
You know what I mean?
So what do you got, a dog or a cat that comes and eats on the floor?
oh, her dog.
Oh, is this where she's living?
No, she lives. She's got her,
Sorta?
her she's got her trailer,
Oh,
but
she's...
she you know, she's got this dog that'll
I saw her
typical nice pit bull, you know.
Oh.
They're just solid muscle, you know.
Yeah.
They're friendly and they'll kill you with their tail and not even
Piss
realize
them off
it.
the wrong way.
Yeah.
Huh. This place is just.
Yes.
No, you'll edit it. You'll
No, I won't.
Yeah, you will.
Narration by
I
Penny.
forgot that part. I swear
This
so
is
long
like
ago.
timeless beauty, you know,
yeah.
Penny in the raw.
Penny's
I know.
analysis.
Whatever.
Exactly.
Critiquing
about her
the
bathing
Winfield
suit picture in the
collection
front.
here.
Yeah. I forgot that. I know
Yeah,
it's
but
walking
no,
around,
I,
just-
no.
So what's in this door?
Oh, okay. Well, we're
Door
gonna go
number
check.
one.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, Monty. Oh, now these guys. This is the.
Randy, you're gonna miss it.
No,
I
I'm
forget
not.
whether this is
I'm
Gibson.
missing anything.
I remember the guy's names are the name of a guitar, but I forget whether it's Gibson or Martin. But I think it's Gibson. The Gibson brothers. They built. You know, out of different kits, they recreated a bunch of
Oh.
Gene's cars.
cars. Yeah.
Cool.
So anyway, so they did some real nice job on those.
Oh,
And-
you know what? I got one of these. That was Rich's too. The bullet from, I forgot the saying in it. I can't remember the details, but they gave it to certain people. It was like the silver bullet they left behind.
Right. What was it? Who gave it to?
It was like a mystery, but I heard it was a 3 people.
Oh. So it wasn't something from like KKOA or something.
No, it was 3 individuals that
Oh,
got
really?
together, and I don't know how many silver bullets they gave out.
Really?
Yeah, to special people.
Gotta go dig it out and then do some rain.
I have it. It's really accessible. It's right here. It's along with Rich's pins and stuff, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know exactly where it is.
Okay, what's behind door
So-
number 1?
Okay, we call this the Hot Rod Garage. So of course we have our collection of stickers
Go
here.
ahead. What's the wire?
Oh,
Aha.
this is where the bed truck is,
Well, yeah.
or it was.
Well, no, this one is. See, Gene actually, we'll see the other room is the what we call the Star Trek room, and
Yeah.
Gene has a Murphy bed
Oh,
in
yeah.
there that comes
Yeah.
out of the wall, but it's hidden. It's all covered with stuff underneath. So then I said, hey Gene, he said, well, I'm going to use this place for a guest room, So I said, well, we should do the same thing in the Hot Rod Garage.
Yeah.
And he says, well, where would I have room for a Murphy bed? I said, well, I've always had this idea I've always wanted to do. So I knew where there was a back of a cab at some ranch, but when I went back, it was gone. Couldn't find it. I don't know if the wind picked it up or somebody came and stole it or whatever. But anyway, so then somebody was reproducing these in Australia, so they heard about it and they brought one to Gene. So then we were going to put a regular twin bed mattress in here, but it just looked too out of proportion. So the original Model A pickup bed was 56 inches, and typically they'd shorten them to like 48 inches.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we just made this one 6 foot 72 inches, and then Gene had an upholsterer make this bedspread for it. But anyway, so
Penny, hop in, have a nap.
Yeah.
You got up early
I
this
can't
morning.
I can't even climb into your truck. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
hell.
I'll help you in.
I had to go find something to. So one day, so for a while there, Gene, you know, he's feeling better now, but a while back he.
Did I say that?
Anyway.
Yes, you did.
Anyway, so I mean, you'd never see him playing cards or anything, you know, but he was looking for something to do, so he started playing cards.
I've heard he plays
Yeah,
cards
cards
a
in
lot.
here.
Well, now
Yeah,
lately, but I mean,
insane.
never. He'd always be in the shop, but when he wasn't feeling good and stuff, he'd be rested all day, and then he'd be wide awake, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, and he's like, yeah, I want to do something. So he'd be playing cards.
Carly said you guys used to play cards till late at night.
Oh yeah, till like midnight. So then, anyway, so then he goes, that's it, I'm going to bed. So he goes to bed, and Carly, she gets up with the chickens and goes to bed with the chickens. So she goes, I've been playing cards with him for 2 hours here, now it's your turn, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, so she's asleep. Gene went to bed. I go and leave, and I get back to, you know, my place over there is where Gene used to live, in the double wide over there, and I get there and I don't have my house key. Then I notice my ring is missing like half the keys, one of the rings. So I'm retracing my steps. I'm like, you know something? I heard something when I was, and it was like right before Gene's show or something. And I was moving some stuff that I didn't want to get lost. And I thought I heard some washers drop. And I go, I bet you that's where I dropped the keys. I found every key except for the house key. So then I figured, okay, now everybody's asleep. So I just came back in here and I just crashed on top of here.
See, that's perfect.
Oh, so now this here was they had the when they did the Monster Garage. Gene was on an
Oh, I
episode.
remember.
with
Oh, okay.
Gene and
I
all that.
remember that.
So then they invited Gene. They got like one person from each episode to come back, and they did a build. And Gene was the manager of that. That's when they built that. The first one they did with Dick Dean and Bill Hines, and
Oh, okay.
they did the '54 Chevy chopped in section.
Yeah.
So now that was the last car, the last episode of Monster Garage they did. They did the '54 Ford wagon. So Gene was on that, and Daryl Starbird had been on another episode, and they had like a welder from another episode, and an electrical guy from another episode. So anyway, so now the series is done, so they're going to strike the set. So they start throwing stuff away, and Gene's like, hey, where are you going with that? Oh, we're done with this stuff. Mind if I take it? So you got the Monster Garage stool, and then you got the clock is sitting over in the office.
Oh, sweet.
Good score.
Can't see.
In somebody's backyard.
So how do people stay in here without freezing or?
Oh,
or
we got a little oil heater,
What
oil
about
electric.
it's freaking hot in the summertime here.
Oh yeah,
There's a wood stove over here with kindling and everything.
yeah. Oh, here's his.
I don't imagine that's
His block that he blew up. He blew up this flathead block at Bonneville, 2006. He did 136 on 139 mile an hour record he was trying to get, and I'm like, oh wow, that's the closest. And all of a sudden, I'm like, what do you do? What do you do? And we're in the push truck. You know, we go along the side road there, and you know, you kind of veer off. So I'm like, what do you do? What do you do? And they go, I don't know. You were jumping up and down so much in the back there. We didn't even know what he said. So it turned out that he turned out because he blew the motor. But so and just nothing was left. I think he saved one piston. I think the cam broke and the lifters got down in the crank and just created.
Just
havoc.
made a mess. Huh?
Yeah. So
Made a table.
so
Makes a perfect table.
yeah, so then he you know, he found some mismatched heads or they were cracked or something, you know, and he polished those all up and got some J-bend tubing from Mercury Tube, and then this is the original setup he used on his 27 Roadster and on the original thing and on his dragster. Those are Wyco 4-cylinder mags for like a tractor. So this guy Barker made that little V drive setup. So those are Wyco mags on a Barker drive, and they're fairly rare. And Gene ended up finding another two. That one actually is the one that came off his car from the '50s.
Wow.
Oh,
And when he
smokes.
recreated the thing, he just was going to do it like as a display piece to have it at the NHRA museum. And then one thing led to another, and we got a rule book, and we made it competitive in the vintage competition coupe class. So, but now the current flathead in there is running GM HEI distributor. Our friend Bob Bailey modified it to fit on the front of the flathead. And, we used to have an Edelbrock 2-barrel setup on that, and that's the carbs.
There's the card, yeah.
Yeah, we had.
That's a nice picture. I'm telling you, just looking at those sitting there.
Yeah,
They're just the carbs sitting right
vintage
up there.
speed.
Yeah, yeah. And you just glance and you got all the 4 or 5 manifolds sitting there and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of it's here.
Gold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
boy.
and then you know it's funny. Some of this stuff I want to get. I find stuff sometimes. You know, people will clean up, you know, and they have no clue what something is.
Yeah.
So I'm one of these guys that I like all the original stuff to collect it. You know, if you can find it, you know.
Yeah.
So Gene had somebody, you know, working in the office there, and I got somebody coming in. They're going to interview me or whatever. Straighten up the office. So they just throw a bunch of stuff in the box and throw it off. And so then later I'm, you know, straightening up. I'm like, what is this stuff? Oh, this is maybe something important. This is trash, you know, whatever. So I start sorting through there. And this is the little die cast of the Kooky Tea.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I'm digging through there, and I find the little brochure that came with it.
Oh,
And then I find the box, and it says that, you know, it says Norm Grabowski's Kooky Tea, you know, 70, whatever it said on there, right? And there it says, to Gene from Normie. And it was
Wow.
just sitting there, you know.
Yeah.
Anybody else would have pitched it out. So,
Yeah.
Right.
so then, the car was not on the cover of Life magazine, but I don't know what the because they had several different issues each month. So I don't know what's like April 20th or whatever, but I know it's April 1957. That I don't know if it was Norm did it, but they had some posters that had the Life magazine heading on it, and then it had the car in there with the picture that's of him sitting in Bob's Big Boy Toluca Lake with the car.
Uh-huh.
So they made that into a poster. So it's sitting there. That's one of the things that Gene left behind at the house where I'm staying. So I want to make a shadow box and mount that in there with the little note from Norm and everything.
That'd be
Really,
cool.
You know.
Yeah.
Very cool. It's freaking cold in here.
And then here's a oh no, this one's Chevy's ink on. That's another. I don't know where that one came from. He's got, oh no, that one's out there. So they had these display cards with the strip star was there, and Carly's
Yeah.
Zephyr was there. So Gene's got his pass for the SEMA thing. So you know they got so he's riding around on the scooter, and we're going down the hallway there, and we're you know when you go into each of those halls, they got like the South Hall and the North Hall and Central Hall. They got somebody checking to see that you're, you know, they just want to see you got your credential there, you know. Oh yeah, you know. So Gene, instead of having it hanging around his neck, he's got it stuffed in his pocket, and he goes buzzing by there on the scooter. And there was a guy there, you know, just some guy. He's not a car guy. He's just some guy that
Yeah.
they hire, you know.
Doing a job.
Yeah. And he goes, hey. He goes, and he didn't seem much younger than Gene, you know. And he goes, hey, where's your pass? You can't come in without a pass. And so Gene didn't even hear him. And Michael, I'm following behind him, and Michael's in front of him. She goes, Gene, he wants your pass. Do you have your pass with you? Anyway, and he goes, yeah, but you know, he gets it out. Yeah, but he goes, when the guy's like reprimanding him, like, you got to have that hanging around your neck, you know. And he's like, yeah, you know, and he kind of like, you know, Gene's kind of mumbling to himself as he cruises off. So then they were just, of course, when they were done with that thing that night, you know.
Yeah.
They were done with this, and one of the Teamsters says, hey, you know, make sure you get that display card if you want it.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we ended up with the thing. We ended up going to pick the thing up. So we stuck it on the back of Gene's scooter.
Oh,
So then she did a little video on Instagram, and it says, hey, how you enjoying the show, Gene? Oh, okay. Hey, do you have your ID with you? And he goes, oh, yeah, it's right back here. He's got it like a headrest.
That's cool.
Oh, must be your friends.
Yeah.
Paso Robles, 2007.
Oh yeah, look at that. It's an overwhelming amount of stuff in there, you know.
It's
It's
really,
insane.
it's so sad.
Well,
I mean, it totally
it's
is.
cool though. Yeah, it's that was gonna.
You're not gonna go see if it's your friends?
Well, he's getting them.
What?
He went to get them.
I know, but
I'm sure it is.
your friends. Well, they missed half the tour.
It's all right. The whole back outside's open. Huh. I'm not coming in here.
Huh?
I ain't coming in here.
Oh.
I won't say anything.
Hey now.
Surprise!
Hey. Hey, am I surprised you're late? You got your
Hey,
priorities.
I was here before you.
You got your priorities.
We went and ate lunch because you were lagging
We
behind.
were not late. We were on time.
Well,
12 o'clock?
Yeah, 12:02.
We were here at 11:53.
Oh, well.
And
Oh,
we
you-
drove from Sacramento, so.
oh,
Oh, well.
oh, you got here first.
uh,
Oh, okay.
Then
Sorry
we decided
about that.
to see the beautiful city of Lancaster, and
Ooh.
So we passed you on the road.
maybe.
Well, see
Whatever.
now, I was gonna say,
Well,
see, I
whatever.
had to stop and eat too. Then Penny
Just
had
to
wait
just get
for
it
me.
in at the last minute, like, whatever.
Exactly.
It's Penny.
There's a light switch right there between the door and the TV set. There you go.
An Elvis belt?
Yeah, I got Elvis impersonator gave that to Gene
Oh, okay.
for his 90th birthday, at, up in I think that was up in Moncton or oh, what's the other place? Is it Moncton? Or did you ever go up there? Where Steve? What's the guy's name? The guy's some rich guy from Canada that he puts on that.
I don't
show.
know rich guys from Canada.
Yeah.
I only know Randy.
You only know me.
I
I'm
only
broke.
know Randy, and he don't have.
When
You got nothing.
Tony
Woods.
Tony Woods
When
passed
he and-
away
Yeah,
when they were
they
coming
were up
back
at
from
that
Canada.
show.
Yeah.
yeah.
So anyway, so that's in June I think or early July. So anyway, so we did a 90th birthday party for him down here at the same weekend as LA Roadsters, Father's Day weekend.
Uh-huh.
So then a few weeks later he went up there to that show and they had a 90th birthday party for him. And they had a spray gun there with a tank and they had 90 candles on there and he blew out the candles with the air and
Oh,
the spray
Lord.
gun. So the Elvis impersonator, I don't know if that's the silver Elvis. There's a guy, I've seen,
Oh, yeah.
there's one guy there, the silver Elvis. Anyway, he.
That's like Bears had his Maryland's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, he.
So we do the Star Trek room.
Yeah. But anyway, so this guy.
What's in that door?
What's his? Oh, that's his bedroom.
Okay.
That's his little. Yeah. What do you call
Penny.
that?
Yeah, penny in the raw. Penny in the raw.
What do you call it?
I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Whatever.
Don't say it.
I keep
Oh,
forgetting.
The little. Hey, well, you gotta watch what happens. You know, like what you always have that, whatever the political figure is,
I
or
am
some
so not
celebrity, or
politically
Yeah, that's Penny.
correct.
She's-
you know, they'll have some
Political
deal
figure.
that they'll have them just talking in the background, and they'll say, "Hey, this guy said this." Everything's recorded.
Yeah, but I forget.
On camera, so
Anyway,
I'll
so
be quiet.
the
There's
deal
my
with
Devon.
the deal with the Hot Wheels is
Yeah.
that's the tail dragger. That's
Yeah, they're all, yeah.
that's Jim Brun Jr. That was Jim Brun Jr.'s car.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I don't know, Gene, they were involved in chopping that, and
Huh.
and Jim Jr. used to drive that around apparently, and then Von Hot Rod had it for a while, I believe, and now
What year was it?
I'd say it was around. I
Was
never.
that a 51?
No, it's a 40. It's a 41 Ford. It's
Okay.
but it's got they got
Okay, I do remember, vaguely kind of remember.
really
okay.
radically chopped, and it's
Vaguely.
I want to say it was like in Custom Rodder. I remember seeing it. I never saw the car cruising around though, but it was probably out there, you know. But anyway, so Von Hot Rod. Now the other guys that has it is Harold Ely in Battle Creek, Michigan. He owns Windsor Fabrication. He's got the car all finished, and but they made a Hot Wheels out of it, which typically they just copy stuff, but nobody ever gets any
Hey, Jimmy, you got a
residuals.
second?
What's it?
Is this the guy who owns this? Is that the rich guy from Canada? That's that Foose Riddler winner, the old '66 Impala. Gold was done a
Oh.
few years back.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I
And
don't,
the same
I
guy
don't,
goes. This guy's got a few Chip Foose cars.
oh yeah.
Pretty sweet setup.
Yeah, there's the other guy is. I was gonna say he's not a Canadian though. It's the guy there, Rydell.
Oh, okay.
Rydell, he's got some Goose cars there too. But yeah, this here is. I went through Gene's photos as I was, you know. Gene has.
I see the photos.
So anyway, so Gene, you know, he'd come back from a show, you know, and he'd go get his photos developed. So then he'd be done with them, and he'd just throw them in a box someplace, and then you'd have like a carburetor sitting with a bunch of pictures. So
Yeah.
so when he moved into the museum here, I was helping him move, but I figured I'm gonna kind of help him get this organized as we go. So when I come across photos, I put them
Never
all
met
in
here,
one
Brad?
box. So while I was doing that, anyone I
just
saw
so
with
sad.
any fan or any woman that is
There's no men in there.
yeah.
Gene
So I
Winfield.
made up we just made up this
Like a-
collage,
Yeah.
and you know he does the chop top video.
Oh yeah.
So what happened was the guys there, Wheels Unlimited, Yoshi and Kyohei, from Nagoya, Japan. So anyway, so Gene goes out there for the Moon Eyes show, and they drive, I don't know, whatever it is, 300 miles up to the Moon Eyes show. So anyway, so they're showing Gene around, and they go to this nine-story shopping mall. So Yoshi's telling Gene's
called
telling one of
Tokyo.
the guys.
He's Jack's favorite.
He's telling Gene.
Oh,
He
is
says,
it?
you know, one of the guys here in the club, you know, he's kind of a shy guy. He's, you know, he said the rest of us are married and stuff. He goes, give him some pointers on, you know, how to meet girls and stuff, you know. So anyway, so he goes, see, you know, he says, telling him, you know, so there's like a girl or a cashier. He goes, now she's a little young for you, but you know, just say something like, hey, you having a nice day? You know, how's the weather? You know, just strike up a conversation. So he says, so next thing I know, he says, I got this whole little entourage of people listening to like my sage advice. So I told Gene, I said, forget the chop top videos. You need Gene Winfield's How to Pick Up Chicks.
Oh yeah.
So I thought that was going to be the cover.
Those two. Okay, let's see what the Star Trek
so,
we got.
so now the thing to this, how that ended up happening was the AMT models. Like you're familiar with this, with the 3-in-1 kits.
Oh, good lord, yeah.
So anyway, so
Yeah.
so these ones is Gene Winfield, but they had the AMT customizing team, which was Barris and Winfield and the Alexander brothers and Bill Cushenberry, and I think Dean Jeffries. So they would do consulting work with AMT.
Wasn't it about like the same as the Ford custom car?
Well, actually,
Caravan?
that evolved into the Ford. Bud Anderson was the guy that was from AMT, and he's the guy that started the AMT customizing team, and through their connection with doing because they'd get the pre-production cars to make the model kits from, so the model kit would come out what they called the annuals. They'd come out about the same time as the new lineup for cars came out. So
He was a good guy.
so they would Bud Anderson.
Yeah.
I never met him.
No, I spent time with him. No, he's a great guy. He was a great guy.
Anyway, so they'd fly Gene out there, or maybe they'd wait until they were at the Detroit Autorama or whatever, and
Yeah.
save themselves a plane trip fee, you know, whatever. Anyway, so they'd have an illustrator there, and they'd go, "Hey, Gene, you know, here's what the new Riviera is going to look like." And what would you do to it? And he'd go, oh, I'd put a tube grill in it, or I'd put a bullet grill, and I'd put lake pipes on it, and I'd put this kind of hubcap, and change the tail lights, and he'd, have all this stuff. And the guy would do all the illustrations. So then the manufacturing engineers, they'd figure out how they were going to make all the tooling so that a kid, a 10-year-old kid could pull it off, building the car 3 different ways. He could build it as a custom or stock or as some kind of rally car or hot rod or something, And then they had all the accessories that came with it,
Oh yeah.
So anyway, so then that was they were in Troy, Michigan. And so then they ended up in 1966. They asked Gene to run their shop, and they opened the shop in Phoenix, Arizona, and they called that AMT Speed and Custom Division, and that was their SC Speed and Custom. That was AMT Speed and Custom, and they already had the what they called the annuals, which were each year they'd come out with the new models of the current cars, and they'd maybe make like 6 to 10 different. They might have like a Corvair and a Nova and a Impala, and then they might have the Tempest and the and the Bonneville or whatever.
20.
Anyway, so they'd make the kits there for the annuals. Then they had what they called the Trophy Series.
20.
And those were all the neo-classics of like the 40 Ford, the 32 Ford, the 49 Merc, like that. So they already had an existing, they had the 3940 Ford Deluxe kit, 2-door sedan kit, and then they had the 40 Coupe, Deluxe Coupe. So Gene coincidentally had a 40 Ford sedan delivery that happened to have the Buick nailhead in it that came out of the solar scene. So, it's quite expensive to start from scratch building it, doing all the tooling to build a kit. So they said, hey, you know what? The 40 Ford Deluxe Coupe kit already has the hot rod engines, the Buick nailhead in it. So all we'd have to do, we could use basically the same sprue. It's for the chrome, all the grill and the bumpers, all that stuff's the same. The engine, all that stuff. So basically, the fenders, all they'd have to do is make a new tooling for the sedan delivery body, the windshield, and side windows, and the interior tub. So they only had to make they had a minimal amount of tooling to make. So they recreated the 40 Ford Deluxe Coupe. They made a sequel to it as Gene Winfield's 40 Delivery. So then there's Gene in 1966.
Oh yeah.
So, but anyway,
Yeah, that's all right. That's cool.
so in the Speed and Custom division, they were going to build all full-size vehicles,
Yeah.
and or not build full-size vehicles, but build full-size vehicle accessories like
Oh, okay.
grills and side pipes and spoilers, stuff like that. So they had a little brochure, and they ended up sending it to Hollywood, to the producers and directors, and they said, AMT, we have a promotion going on with Chevrolet. We got 50 new Chevrolets for you to use for your production, to be used in your films and series and stuff like that. So anyway, and they said, but if you need them modified in any way, we're also capable of that. And they had like Gene's Reactor and the Jade Idol and various other cars that he had done. So what ended up happening was that Gene took the Reactor on an open car trailer. He took it to, I think, to Fox Studio, and he bluffed the guy at the front gate, and he goes, hey, he says, I've been all over Hollywood. He goes, and everybody's telling me the head of transportation at Fox Studio needs to see this car. And he's like, oh, okay, go ahead. So he tells him, go ahead here in the gate, go to the third alley here, go down to the third window, whatever it is, he says, and that's where the guy is, and such and such. So the guy loved the car, and then he introduced him to all the other transportation supervisors and all the other studios, so that's how he got his foot in the door. So
Smart
Which
boy.
so what ended up happening was they did some TV series. So AMT would modify these cars for the TV series, and they do it for a very minimal amount of money. But then what they would in return, they would get the rights to make it into a model kit. So they were getting free publicity. So they did it was like a detective series. It was called THE Cat. There was another one called The Hero. He did the Get Smart Sunbeam with the cannon that comes out of the hood.
Yep.
And him and I think Sam Foose was also involved with that. And so anyway, so they did these vehicles, and so they were also made them into model kits. So that ended up that Gene got the go ahead to make the Galileo landing craft for Star Trek. So that's why we have this here.
So that was the build-up, huh?
Yeah. So,
Pay
so
attention,
that's how we
Penny.
got in here. So anyway,
I had to bring her.
yeah. So now all the Trekkie stuff. So now Gene. So they ended up making the Galileo landing craft. They made the Klingon ship and the Enterprise and all that. I was never really a Trekkie.
No.
I've
I had a
never
friend-
seen one.
That's trouble with tribbles.
Yeah. So anyway, so Gene built two different Galileo landing craft. One was just the exterior, that they'd have this as a scene, a prop in the scene, and it would have the doors open, and maybe they'd have it where these, they're walking out of the thing and they land on this planet, whatever. Then they made another one that was just the interior.
Oh, okay.
And what it had was what they called wild walls. So they could take this wall out, and they could film, like say Spock's here and Kirk's here. They could film over here and do a close up of Spock. And sometimes you see all this stuff with reality TV that everything seems spontaneous, but they may you may see a little 30-second scene with a conversation with you and I, but they might have filmed that 4 or 5 different takes from different camera angles. A close-up of you, a close-up of me, both of us talking, a close-up of the thing we're holding, whatever it is. So you see a lot of this stuff, what you see on 30 seconds might take them 2 or 3 hours to actually film. So, and sometimes this guy and this guy might not even be there on the same day. This guy might be filming another scene where he's by himself. So once they do this and they film this wall, then they put this wall back and then they film this guy. Then they might take out the front and have them both together. So, and like we were talking about before, when they're done with a production, they just strike the set and that stuff, nobody cares. So they were going to get rid of the Galileo, and it turns out that a kid
Randy, get over here.
a kid that was a fan of the show. A kid that was a fan of the show lived in Brentwood. The famous O.J. Brentwood.
I was sent at 405, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so his dad was an attorney or something, and he says, "Hey, he says I'm a fan of that show." He says, "Do you know anybody that's in the studio there that could get me some memorabilia?" So he ends up with the Galileo sitting in his front yard in Brentwood. So, and it was never designed to be sitting in the weather, So after a few years, it's fallen apart, and the neighbors are complaining. So they get rid of it, and somebody ends up with it in the Midwest, and it sat in the warehouse for like 30 years.
Is that a script?
Probably, yeah. And then, we have a lot of people here that work at Edwards Air Force Base.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a kind of a experimental, that's because they build the stealth bomber right over there at Northrop, and it's right next door. That's plant 42. Basically, is the back door of Edwards Air Force Base. So they go test the stuff over here. The test pilots do. So there's a lot of guys that are car guys that work at the base.
Oh, sure.
So this guy comes by one time and he says, "Hey, Gene, he says,
Up in the
when
corner?
he says, I'm cleaning out my garage." He says, and it's legal to have this. He goes, "But I thought you might want it for your museum." So he brings this to him, and this thing rotates and everything. It's like a gyro. And I go, "What is that?" And he goes, "Oh," that's what controls the IFR. That's like when you fly on instruments. He goes, this is what controls the IFR on a U-2 spy plane.
Okay.
So now we're gonna go where no man has gone before, I guess.
No kidding.
So anyway,
I'll be. Oh, sweet. Where's the gas?
what's that?
Where's the gas pedal?
Right.
That's wild.
Yeah. So this Eric Sharp up in San Jose, he built this for Gene and surprised him when Gene opened the museum.
Ooh.
So, but anyway,
Now, is that one of the, who built the chair?
you know,
Was that part of the,
no, that was actually
who left their shoes?
well, probably Michael. I don't know. She.
I didn't know.
Anyway, well, it was just
That's sweet.
the guest room here, so
No, Tribble.
yeah.
That's the only, to be honest, the only
Yeah.
Star Wars is Trouble with Tribbles.
Here. So this Eric Sharp, this Eric.
Do that again.
So that they multiply.
This Eric that he's up in San Jose, and he used to do work for Jeffries and stuff, and so he likes building stuff out of fiberglass mainly, and he likes doing movie. You know, he's done movie stuff. So he ended up that this. Anyway, that's one of the seats. He found somebody that used to work for Gene that had the seat, had the mold for the seat for the Galileo. So they made that up for him. So Eric goes and he makes that up, and surprises Gene with it. You know.
How you get out? I can get in. I ain't
Carefully.
I ain't getting out of that thing.
My short legs wouldn't let me.
Well, it rocks. I mean, it's heavy, so whatever. But anyway, so what was funny is, so this gal that she come and work for Eric, and so she's a young guy. She wasn't born probably. She was probably born in the late '70s, early '80s, something like that. But she comes and helps him out. So she sets this thing down, and Gene's got the Tribble sitting over here someplace, and she bumped it, and the thing went, and she goes, "What the heck is that?"
I didn't know that quick.
So then I was telling her, she made up a whole nice 3D model of the Everyman's car from Blade Runner.
Oh, okay.
And I go, "Man, you're up north." I go, "You did that? In 3D?" And she goes, "Yeah." I go, "Oh man, you gotta go work like at Pixar or something. You're right up there." She goes, "I already work in aerospace." She goes, "I just do this stuff because I like doing it on the side."
Just for fun, yeah. Holy smokes.
So they had,
Yeah, pretty rare too.
So anyway, so Eric made this up, but I have a nephew that he's an animator, and he's so when he was about maybe 13, something like that, that's when that Blade Runner came out.
Yeah.
So anyway, so my dad's friend Don, he'd always take me to the car shows and stuff. So we went to this car auction, and they had a bunch of cars on display there that they weren't auctioning, but they just had like a car show there. So they had some of the Blade Runner cars, and I didn't know that Gene built them at the time, So this is whatever, like 1983, something like that. So anyway, so my nephew, so he's always wanted to do animation and did filmmaking and stuff, and so he's done some live action films. So one time he was telling me, he says, "I remember when you and Don took me to that show and we saw the Blade Runner cars." He says, and I was thinking, man, how great they looked in the movie and how cheesy they looked in reality. He says, and when I started making films, I knew what I could get away with. He goes, you just take something like that, it's cardboard and printed. He said, you put a couple little blinking lights here and there, and it looks fantastic.
When you learned the first time I went to Hollywood, into Disneyland,
Yeah.
and I'm like, what the H? And I'm like, oh yeah. So yeah, it was just like, wait a sec, this isn't right. But yeah.
I think this is, I don't know, I think that's RoboCop. I don't know. One of those. And then we got, this is all
like
Sid Mead illustrations. Futuristic designer. And then this is John that used to work in the office. He found these on eBay, a collection. It's like all these books. It's stuff like if you want to go like on the Enterprise, what's on the third deck.
Oh,
You know,
it's like
it's
an
the-
instruction manual.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like the infirmary's here, the mess hall's here. This is where the living quarters are. And this is the bridge. You know.
Fantastic.
Yeah. What an ensign's uniform, what badges it has, and you know.
When you get it on the phone.
Wow.
That's a cool A&W thing, huh?
I know.
Yeah. Now I heard that's from the first A&W in the United States.
Really?
Yeah.
And where was that?
I want
I'm
to.
trying to remember where A&W was. It from Massachusetts?
I heard that it was from Canada originally.
Canada, thank you.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, I got
But this
started
was
up there.
someplace in Northern California, I believe.
You know, I personally didn't notice.
What?
I think I only saw one picture of Gene and George together. I'm sure there's a lot of them.
There's one here.
I saw one somewhere. Yeah.
There's one here.
Oh, there's a
It's-
few here and there,
it's
yeah.
Gene and it's
And
well,
Blackie.
well. You know, where'd that one go? It's around here someplace.
It's okay, Jim.
Maybe it was up
It's
here.
okay.
Maybe it's no, but I want to know where it went to now. There's Gene and Blackie.
I saw one picture.
Oh, here it is. Here, this one slipped down in front of it. That's the problem. Here.
Oh my God, this is when we were in Oklahoma. We were going to Oklahoma. No. Well, yeah, no. KKOA. KKOA. I remember. That was at the airport for KKOA.
Yeah, there's a
Oh, there's a-
Gene and Tony and Blackie and George.
What a crew.
And then there's somewhere I have a picture of
There's
Johnny D and me and I forgot who else, Johnny and Cindy
Cindy Williams.
Williams. We were all together at the airport. Balon.
Huh.
There's George down there with Gene.
Oh, by the bowling pin.
Yeah,
A few years back.
a few years back for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing
It's
here.
not gonna
You got
stay.
pictures here from the 60s to now, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, there was one picture, and I don't know if Gene has it framed
Damn,
someplace.
that's an old picture, huh? Look how young they were.
Yeah. Gene.
And George has his bag. George loved our bags.
Oh.
And he always brought it with him and always showed our bags that we gave away.
Yeah, I thought that was great when he had his funeral there with the open casket. He's got the sunglasses and he's got the Sharpie in his hand.
Yeah.
But-
And he always had more than one color because you never knew what you had to sign.
Right.
Oh, yes. He knew.
Yeah, always prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's this picture, and it was in Hot Rod Deluxe, and they had like a bunch of old pictures there, and they had the one where it was George and Gene, and they're standing either side of this lady, and it was I think it was Joe Balon and maybe Joe Balon's wife, and it says, and the caption said, you know, and it was just like an old picture from the archives from you
Yeah.
know, like an outtake. So they said something. It says George is Balon's trying to distance himself from George and Gene, who are trying to make time with the gal or whatever it was.
With Marie? Oh no, the girl that was
The
in
girl that's
between.
in the
Okay.
thing, yeah. So then, what happened was, so I bought the magazine, you know, and I had it, and Gene was up north someplace doing a metalworking class, and I go, hey Gene, I go, you know, you got a picture with you and George and Balon, and you know, in the new Hot Rod Deluxe. So I showed him the picture. He goes, "Oh yeah." He goes, "The guy brought me one." He says, and he brought me one for me to sign for him. And I forget it was Balon's nephew or somebody. I don't know who it was, but they got the picture and they had it done. And so then it turns out that the woman was actually Dolores, Gene's wife, that was in the picture. Well, the second
He's gonna get ahead.
Here we go again.
He's gonna get ahead.
Penny raw. Penny raw.
No, that's actually well.
Yeah, you and
I didn't know her.
You and I in
okay?
no position to talk.
No, actually, that was like what's the guy's?
I didn't know
The
her.
guy that had the shoot.
The first time
You got them
I
open and
met one
closes
of
and
Gene's
stuff on
wives,
each side.
it was right after, what's his youngest daughter's name?
Nancy.
Nancy was born.
Yeah, so that
It
was
was
Kathy.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
who-
Dolores is Steve and Jana's mother.
actually Kathy was just this little big baby,
Oh,
and
Nancy.
they came to Paso Robles.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, she was. Well, I know that when you know I've seen several pictures of her when she's maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years old.
Is there a light was supposed to be shut off in there?
It's like an automatic light. And
No, I turned them all off. I thought we were heading out. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
We are. It's cold in here.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Penny's freezing. It's
Yep,
California.
Penny needs some heat.
Desert. She
Yeah.
needs a desert
I need to
I should
outside.
have had the.
sun.
I should have had the wood stove going, but I was having enough trouble keeping mine going this morning. Okay, yeah, Gene will
Let's
be.
go see what we're building.
Gene will be like, "Hey, when was the last time you were in the museum?" And
Yesterday.
I'm like, "Oh, 3 days ago. Oh, you left the light on over here." But yeah.
So much stuff to see, you
Oh
know.
yeah, yeah. A lot of this stuff is Laura that he was going with. Her husband had a huge collection of petrobilia. I mean, some of the signs
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, he had a lot of stuff. And it's funny. This stuff here, a lot of this came from a guy that he lived in North Hollywood on the same street his whole life. He was there 77 years.
Wow.
And he'd go to Bob's Big Boy. And I met him probably 30, 35 years ago, and probably the first 10 years, I didn't even know his name, you know, but we'd just see each other. Hey, how's it going? Run into him at the swap meet or whatever. So anyway, so he passed away, and it took them 2 years to empty his house.
Wow.
So
That's a lot of stuff.
So our friend Keith and I went down there to look at the place, and he says, "Man," he goes, "I'm not going to tell Gene where we're going." He says, "I'm going to come back tomorrow, but I'm not going to tell Gene where we're going." He goes, "And maybe Gene will go, hey, maybe I should start, you know, liquidating some of this stuff so it's not such a big burden for my heirs, you know." While Gene was there, he picked up a truckload of stuff.
Yep. There's always room for more.
Now, what's going on inside the garage?
uh,
Anything in there?
oh yeah. Yeah, the more collection of stuff here, you know.
Yeah. Lead the way.
We're leaving you, Randy. He's still looking at junk out there.
The gas pumps, they came from Steve Darnell.
Welder up.
Yep. But actually, this used to be a gas station, I've heard.
Oh,
This was actually the original building, and there was gas pumps out here. And,
I just thought it was a junkyard.
well, yeah. Well, You're probably a hot rodder if people have confused your yard with pick-a-part.
I thought Gene bought it as a junkyard.
Well, he had a junkyard license when we dismantled his license.
But didn't the county or something kind of screw him over
Well,
on stuff
it
like
wasn't transferable.
Oh, it wasn't.
So then he thought it'd be all cool and be grandfathered in, and all he wanted it for is he just didn't want to get hassled about having a vehicle.
Huh.
You know, like he didn't want to get hassled about them saying, "Oh, you can't keep all these cars here." So, but anyway, they had him do some deal. It's called a used parts peddler's credential or something.
He has to get it going.
Well, I don't want to ask too much, I don't know. But didn't they tell him he had so much time to get rid of so much stuff or something? They were gonna fine him daily.
I don't know what happened with all that. But that's how the list came up there. The sign-in thing.
Mm-hmm.
I told the inspector. I said, some people may think all these cars and stuff is an eyesore. I said, but we literally have people that come from all over the world that want to see the backyard.
Exactly. This is a museum. Whose
Yeah.
mark is that?
That's a guy named Sheldon's.
And
We got the parts registered. It's got all rock equipment on there and everything. And it just came back to me the black I went to freshen the
excuse me, my name's Penny. Hi, Greg. I've heard you and I probably have seen you.
This place is insane.
I know.
It's just insane. Every merc, every chop, every angle, every dangle. 2 inch here, 3 inch there, 6, 7s, 9s. I mean, cutting everything. Fantastic.
Excuse me.
And you know this isn't riding on air or anything. Who knows where you put it?
Deep,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
crazy stuff.
And then the trunk lids are all different.
Yeah.
Same car, different. Here. Oh, here's another. Oh my. Oh my. Somebody's Lincoln. Jeez.
Oh, look at this vise. What a cool offset vise.
Oh yeah. There's every tool. Home. And how many are homemade? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how many? Look at the vice grips and all kinds of doodads.
Oh, that's a plate.
Oh, I found the paint shop. Oh my. Oh, what a great smell. That is a great smell. Wow. Yes. Use the time clock. People actually time in and out of work here.
Got to keep track of time.
What are we allowed to do?
Just don't film that car.
The one on the end?
Yeah.
Okay, not a problem. We'll work around it.
Yeah, the booth, there's a Camaro in the booth. You're welcome to go in there.
Okay.
No, I don't want to see a Camaro. I don't want to see this. Is that your Challenger? No.
I know, John wants to. A
Custom.
good friend of mine comes.
Okay, yeah. I'm a Mopar guy, but you know, you can see a 71 to 74 Challenger anywhere. You don't find an old Lincoln
Yeah, that's
sitting in the shop.
a 57 Mark II. 56, 57, they built it around 56.
Yeah.
And these were literally hand-built cars.
Yeah.
They,
Well,
Is this going back to original?
first was the fourth.
studios, most of the time the cars went to
They got it all ready to go.
Studios bought one for Elizabeth Taylor,
Okay.
and they ordered it in blue to match the price.
Oh, yeah.
So you literally, you know, you pick the whatever color, whatever's the interior. You
But they're
pick
gonna have to
anything.
clear the whole outside, they
It
couldn't.
didn't matter whether it was a factory color or a
Well,
non-factory color.
Clayton
you
thought
just
it,
picked it.
Gene decided to just clear the front fender and then show
No.
where the clear.
At the time when they sold for about $12,000.
How much?
$12,000.
And then try to match that.
Well, you know, barrel.
I think they ended up respraying the whole, they sprayed it from.
Like a quarter, yeah.
The line was, they
Yeah.
sprayed, they masked all this, they sprayed the bottom, and then when they took it off, it didn't quite
we've got-
match the top of it.
And you keep forgetting it's a working shop too.
That's
Yeah.
what I heard too.
In fact, Jeff Bruce was in here and I said that to him one day, when he was in here, and I said, I know it's not like your shop, Jeff. And he said, I grew up in a shop just like this.
Oh, yeah.
His dad worked with him.
Yeah, I've seen all the pictures.
That's the way to do it. Look at that lift. Fantastic.
He said that he first met Chip and he was that.
Dad told me he couldn't come to the show.
Is that corner got a good smell to it?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's a great smell in that corner. Yeah.
So this is a Continental Mark II, 1957.
Now, whose is that?
That belongs to
Glenn.
Glenn McBride, no,
From where?
McGuire. He's down in the valley someplace.
Yeah. Fairly rare car. Yeah. It's funny
Oh, my.
is I've met a guy that I went to high school with, we ran into each other at Gene's
Coming.
City Show. And Bicycle Randy, who's over there, he was talking with him, and I walked up and he goes, oh, this is my.
Look up.
Oh yeah. He's got molds all over the place. You know.
Oh, it's just the front clip.
Yeah.
Oh, no, the rest of it's back here. They just add on and add on and add on. You need some seats, there's a nose.
Never ending.
Incredible, yeah. Okay, we need another 12 feet. Okay,
Every day. But then we didn't live in the same area as where we went to school. So, but both our parents had businesses on Ventura Boulevard, so we'd go there after school. And then, but I lived in one part of town and he lived in another part, and we hadn't seen each other for 30-something years. But he did quite well. His family had money, but he did quite well for himself too. And he's got Elizabeth Taylor's '56 Continental.
One of the two she had.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So then,
The first, one
I
of
thought
them,
Bears did one.
well, he did one for Elvis,
Right.
and Keith says he has that. Keith says he still owns that car, and he's trying to get it.
Speaking of Keith Dean.
Oh, that's the other. Oh,
I know, but I'm changing.
yeah.
I turned the page, okay, Jimmy? I turned the page.
Okay, okay.
Different book. Anyway, how did he place at the Grand National? Does it, nobody seems to know. I know he got,
No, it's just for
What did he have
back
there?
in the day though.
whenever
no,
he
I
won,
mean, we'll light it and warm our hands up and that's it. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it takes some
Mike.
chill out of it.
Don't know.
what was the car that Keith built for the Grand National?
The Runaway
Right. But-
for the Guild of Restoration, Automotive Restoration, or whatever they call it, the TV show.
Yeah.
Up there in Canada.
Yeah.
Out of Ontario.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's he built
And,
for?
I just didn't know how he placed at the Grand National.
David Granger, is that his name?
Yeah.
Well, it's Larry that commissioned it.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
it's.
know, I read the.
That was a
Grand
great
National
signboard
had-
he
David
had,
and
though.
his partner, they own the guild,
Yeah.
if I recall correctly.
That was a great signboard he had.
What was the
From-
most
it was like
interesting
from
car
the
that
old
he
movie.
did was a Bugatti.
The hand built one.
Yeah, and they, you know what that was made out of? Magnesium.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't take you a couple of years, few dollars or something, cause
Yeah, they ordered
hand formed the whole thing.
they ordered 11 sheets of magnesium, one sheet to practice on, and the rest of them they used to build the car. And then the car was dropped when they took it out 747 when it went overseas.
Yeah.
It was dropped and it was also lost in shipping. So,
How you lose a car?
well, you know, you go to the Middle East, who knows what.
Right,
they're
yeah.
gonna get, you know?
Yeah.
So, but he, him and Jay Leno, they talked a lot about that car, you know, what it takes to build it and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you can weld magnesium, but you
I remember watching the show, they were building that, and of course doing other projects in the show.
Lots of stories.
Vehicle deals and stuff. And I never watched
Lots
one
of history here
that presented anyway.
at the Winfield store, or Winfield Rod and Custom. Most of the stuff's put away, but there's a few movie props out here. I think that's a Blade Runner one over there. You got Winfield's awesome half Merc and then Die Hard 57 over there. But it's so cool to be here. Even look at the airplane out of rods. Another movie prop right here. Yeah, we're about an hour 17 into this. We've done several videos up here, and they gave us most of the ones we did in the past were 4K, or were not 4K. They were done live with kind of poor broadband connection, so they didn't turn out as good. So Penny gave me an opportunity to come up here and do a little filming with Jimmy, giving us a tour, especially of the museum. And I thought that was really important to come and take that opportunity when the chance presented itself. And I wanted to share it with you. I hope you guys have enjoyed this walkthrough of this historical place. It is incredible what this man has accomplished in his lifetime. And he's still at it. Yes, that's a Volvo, chopped and channeled and section, or chopped and section, I'm sorry. But yeah, walking along the historic grounds of Gene Winfield Rod and Custom in Mojave, California. If you like what we do, please subscribe, like, comment, and tell a friend. If you want to get notified when we put stuff up, go ahead and hit the bell too. And if you see this on Facebook, you know, please share it with a friend too. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps us a lot in the algorithms of the internet world, and we appreciate it a lot. So anyhow, you guys have a wonderful week. This will probably be out here midweek, and then we'll go from there. Love you all. Thanks again for hanging at Custommikes. See ya.